I challenge you to do this for 30 days. The world does not reward the man who waits. I want you to think about that for a moment. Not as a motivational statement, as a description of a law as real and as reliable as the law of gravity. The world does not reward the man who waits. It does not reward him with opportunity. It does not reward him with advancement. It does not reward him with the recognition, the compensation, the position, or the freedom that he may believe he deserves. No matter how qualified he is, no matter how capable, no matter how long he has been waiting, or how much he has endured in the waiting. Opportunity does not come to the man who is ready for it and standing at the door. It comes to the man who is already in motion. This is the law of personal initiative, and it is one of the most important and most consistently ignored principles in the entire system of success that I have spent my life studying and teaching. Personal initiative is the power to begin, the willingness to act, to take the first step without being asked, to move toward the objective without waiting for someone else to give permission, to start the work before the conditions are perfect and the path is fully clear. It is the quality that separates the leader from the follower, the builder from the observer, the man who creates his life from the man who endures it. And it is, of all the qualities I have studied in men of great achievement, perhaps the most democratic, because it requires nothing that you do not already have. No special education, no special resources, no special circumstance, only the decision, the genuine, committed, action-producing decision. To begin, let me tell you something I observed in every man of great achievement I ever studied. They began before they were ready, every single one of them. Carnegie did not wait until he had enough capital to build a steel mill. He began where he was, with what he had, and built the capital through the quality of his early performance. Edison did not wait until someone gave him a laboratory equipped for the experiments he wanted to conduct. He built his first laboratory from salvaged materials in his family home and began experimenting with what he had. Ford did not wait until he had the engineering team and the manufacturing facility required to build the automobile he had envisioned. He began in a workshop with his own hands, with tools that were barely adequate for the purpose. None of them were ready. All of them began. This is not a coincidence. It is a pattern so consistent across the lives of men of great achievement that I have come to regard it as a defining characteristic of the type. The men who accomplish great things are not the men who wait until the conditions are optimal before they act. They are the men who recognize that optimal conditions are almost never available in advance, that they are created through action from the imperfect conditions that actually exist. Waiting for readiness is the strategy of the man who will never be ready. Because readiness, genuine readiness, the kind that comes from developed capability, established confidence, and demonstrated performance, is a product of action. It does not precede action. It follows it. You will never be ready before you begin. You will only become ready through the process of beginning. I want to define personal initiative precisely, because it is often confused with two things it is not. It is not recklessness. The man of personal initiative does not abandon careful thought. He does not leap without looking or act without planning. He thinks clearly about what he is doing and why. He identifies the best available approach given the information he has. He prepares as much as is reasonable, given the time available and the importance of the decision. And then he acts, without waiting for certainty that will not come, without the guarantee that no genuine opportunity ever carries, with the understanding that the final degree of readiness, the specific confidence and capability that can only come from actually doing the thing, will be developed in the doing. This is not recklessness. It is intelligence applied to action in the presence of unavoidable uncertainty, which is to say, it is the only kind of intelligence that ever actually builds anything. Personal initiative is also not the absence of direction. The man of personal initiative is not simply a man who acts a lot, in all directions simultaneously, with tremendous energy but no clear aim. That is busyness, not initiative. And busyness, the perpetual motion of effort that is not organized around a definite purpose, is one of the most effective ways of staying exactly where you are while feeling like you are going somewhere. Personal initiative is action organized around a definite purpose. It is the willingness to take the first step, and the second, and the 100th, in the specific direction that your clear, decided, committed purpose requires. The direction matters as much as the motion. Initiative without direction is spinning. Initiative with direction is building. Now let me explain why personal initiative produces the results it produces. Not just that it works, but the specific mechanisms through which it works. The first mechanism is what initiative does to opportunity. Opportunity is not a fixed resource distributed by some external authority to the people who deserve it. It is a dynamic, emergent phenomenon that appears, consistently and reliably, at the intersection of preparation and action. The man who is in motion, who is actively engaged in the pursuit of his purpose, who is taking visible steps in the direction of his aim, encounters opportunities that the waiting man never sees. Not because the opportunities prefer the active man, but because action creates the conditions in which opportunities become visible and accessible. When you are in motion, you are meeting people, encountering information, developing capabilities, and putting yourself in situations that do not exist for the man who is standing still. The opportunities that arise from those meetings, that information, those capabilities, and those situations, the partnerships, the resources, the insights, the connections, are simply not available to the waiting man. Not because the world is unfair, because he has not created the conditions in which they can appear. Motion creates opportunity. This is not a metaphor. It is a mechanistic description of how the world actually works. The second mechanism is what initiative does to your development. The gap between what you currently can do and what your purpose requires is closed only one way: through practice, through doing the thing, or something close to the thing, and learning from the experience. This learning is unavailable to the waiting man. He cannot learn what action teaches. He cannot develop through preparation what only practice can develop. He cannot close the capability gap from a position of stillness. The man of personal initiative, by contrast, is closing the capability gap every day. Each action, whether it succeeds or produces a lesson, adds to his stock of knowledge, skill, and judgment. Each attempt, whether it achieves its immediate aim or not, develops something in him that makes the next attempt more likely to succeed. This compounding development of capability through action is one of the most powerful forces in the life of any man who pursues a significant purpose. And it is available only to the man who acts, who does not wait for the perfect preparation that never arrives, but begins from where he is, with what he has, and builds from there. The third mechanism is what initiative does to your confidence. Confidence, genuine, sustainable, earned confidence, is not a prerequisite for action. It is a consequence of action. It comes from doing the thing and surviving it, from attempting and sometimes failing and learning that failure is survivable and instructive, from accumulating the evidence through actual performance that you are capable of doing what you are trying to do. The man who waits for confidence before he acts will wait forever. The man who acts before confidence arrives and allows confidence to develop through the action. This man builds something real. This is why personal initiative is so foundational to the development of the other qualities I teach. The man of personal initiative develops confidence through action. He develops capability through practice. He develops reputation through performance. He develops opportunity through motion. And all of these developments feed back into each other in a cycle of compounding growth that is simply not accessible to the man who is waiting. I want to talk about the specific enemies of personal initiative because they are real and they are worth naming. The first enemy is the demand for perfect conditions. The man who is waiting for the right time, the right resources, the right level of preparation. This man is not waiting for conditions that will arrive. He is manufacturing reasons not to begin. The right time is almost never now. The right resources are almost never fully assembled. The right level of preparation almost never feels complete. The man of initiative recognizes this and acts anyway. Not by ignoring what he does not have, but by identifying the smallest possible version of beginning that is available to him right now with what he currently has. And beginning there. The smallest possible version of beginning is always available. Always. No matter how limited your resources, no matter how imperfect your preparation, no matter how far you are from the scale at which you ultimately intend to operate, there is always a first step that is within reach. Find it, take it. The second enemy is the fear of failure. The fear of failing publicly, of looking foolish, of investing effort and not achieving the expected result. This fear keeps more men in stillness than almost any other force I have observed in my research. And yet the evidence of every significant achievement in human history points to the same conclusion. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a component of it. The path to every significant achievement runs directly through multiple failures, each of which provides information and development that the eventual success required. The man who refuses to risk failure refuses to pursue achievement. He chooses the safety of the unlived possibility over the discomfort of the imperfect attempt. And he ends his life with the heaviest burden of all. Not the weight of his failures, but the weight of what he never tried. The fear of failure is not irrational. It is human, but it can be managed. And one of the most effective ways to manage it is the recognition that failure is survivable, instructive, and necessary. That the man who has failed at something has demonstrated the courage to try, which is more than most men ever show. The third enemy is the habit of waiting for permission. Many men have been trained by their families, their schools, their workplaces, to wait for someone else to sanction their action, to get approval before they proceed. To check that what they are doing meets with the authorities' expectations before they commit their full effort to it. This habit, in the context of building anything significant, is crippling. The significant achievements of human civilization were not accomplished by men who waited for permission. They were accomplished by men who decided, on the basis of their own clear purpose, their own honest assessment of their situation, and their own committed conviction, that the thing should be done, and then they did it. You are the authority in your own life, not in the sense that your choices carry no consequences or affect no one else. They do. But in the sense that no external authority can give you permission to pursue your purpose. That permission can only come from within you, from your own decision, your own commitment, your own act of will. Grant yourself that permission now, and then act on it. I want to close with something I have come to believe after decades of studying the lives of men who have accomplished remarkable things. The most important moment in any significant achievement is not the moment of completion. It is not the moment of recognition or reward or success. It is the first moment. The moment when a man, facing all the uncertainty and imperfection and incompleteness that always accompanies any genuine beginning, decides to act, to take the first step, to begin. That moment, that single act of personal initiative, is where everything that follows becomes possible. Without it, nothing exists. No progress, no development, no opportunity, no achievement, nothing. With it, everything becomes possible. The path reveals itself step by step to the man who is walking. The capabilities develop in the man who is practicing. The opportunities appear for the man who is in motion. And the life, the specific, purposeful, fully engaged life that is the proper ambition of every serious man, begins to come into existence, one act of initiative at a time. The world does not reward the man who waits. It rewards the man who begins. Begin.